Question. Could you take a vacation right now for 1 week and completely unplug while your business continues to go on without you? Would sales dip? Would the team need to wait until you're back to get their question answered? Or worse, would they just interrupt you during vacation because they need you now? Well, in this video, I'm going to be sharing how to remove yourself out of the day-to-day operations and have a business that isn't 100% reliant on you. Most business owners are working way too hard for way too little money, and maybe that's you. Ask yourself, are you paying yourself a fair CEO salary? Most business owners are not, and we need to change that. Did you know the average small business owner in the United States tends to work significantly more hours per week than a typical employee? Approximately 84% of small business owners work more than 40 hours per week. That is a problem, and I am here to change that. Now, our mission here at Well-Oiled Operations is to transform your business from a job into a valuable asset you own while getting more profit in your pocket and more white space on your calendar. Now, here's what I'm going to be giving away today. My gift to you. This is our top secrets of high performing teams. This thing is loaded. You are going to see both sides, front and back. My gift to you at the end, it's what it really takes to build a self-run business. You're going to want to grab access to this. So if you want to increase your profit margins, stop putting out fires all day long, get your team performing at a higher level, take a vacation while business is completely fine without you, and finally pay yourself a fair CEO salary, then you are in the right place. So here's what we're going to cover today. How to not just grow revenue, but increase your profits at the same time. Strategies for getting more out of the team and having them take more accountability and ownership off their role and off your plate. And how to get 10 hours back per week without the business slowing down. Now, I'm going to get a bunch of questions. We worked with thousands of clients over the years in all sorts of different industries. So before you, but me, meaning, but Stacy, I'm a landscaper. But Stacy, I'm a dog groomer. I promise you, we've probably already worked with somebody in your exact industry already. These strategies have worked with medical practices to children's art studios to salons and spas. Allison said, I save myself hundreds of hours a year by implementing the systems I learned in Well-Oiled. Megan said, since joining Stacy's programs, I've increased my revenue 5x while maintaining a 45% profit margin, only working 22 hours per week. Colleen said, I just started delegating because of this program, and it is liberating. Heather expanded her team and learned strategies for better employee management. She tripled the number of clients she served that year. So really quickly, in case you have never heard of me before, let me give you a 30-second overview. My name is Stacy Tuschl, and I grew up in a family business since the day I was born. We come from the construction world. My first business I started at the age of 17. I turned that into a multiple seven-figure business I still own and operate today, and I haven't worked in over a decade. My second business, Well-Oiled Operations, is a multiple seven-figure online business. I'm a best-selling author. I've written 4 books. My most recent, Well-Oiled Operations, you can find them right on Amazon. My top management podcast has over 3 million downloads. I was the Wisconsin Small Business Person of the Year by the United States Small Business Administration. I've worked and trained with thousands of business owners in more than 20 countries. We hit the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies in America 2 years in a row. I'm going to show you how we did that today. And I'm a mom of 2, married to my husband, Kent, for the last 16 years. Now, I share this information not to brag. I share this because I think there's a lot of people out there teaching business and how to scale, but they don't actually have the resume to prove it. So here's the deal. If you're trying to get out of the day-to-day operations, but you feel you just can't trust anybody to do it like you, or you think your clients or your team members expect you, maybe you do, right? Maybe you have trouble delegating and you want to take ownership, right? Now, it just feels like you take 1 step forward and 2 steps back consistently. You're not gaining the momentum you know you could be, and you might not realize that there are 2 major stages in business. Hear me when I say this. There is something called sustaining and something called scaling. Scaling, we all get. It means growth. It means bigger numbers. It means bigger revenue. Sustaining it's a word people don't want to hear. It sounds like slowing down. It sounds like plateauing. Nobody wants to stay still, right? We are visionaries. We're go-getters. We're high achievers. We don't want to stay the same. And you've probably heard this phrase about if you're not growing, you're dying, right? It's a big phrase that we hear all over the place, right? But what you have to understand is more money scaling, right, will not scale a broken business. You can't scale broken. Write that down. You can't scale broken. So what I want you to know is scaling a broken business will scale your problems. Maybe you've already experienced that. Comment below and tell me, what have you tried? Have you tried to scale and it's backfired before? You probably get it. You know that the business got messier. It got harder, right? Maybe the revenue grew, but everything else started to fall apart. I've seen people that even want to go backwards because their life is just not fun. We had somebody enroll over in Well Oiled's operations. They were at $26 million in annual revenue. That's impressive. I'm only at multiple seven figures. So I was like, wow, 26 million. And he said, if you can get me down to 20 million and get me to enjoy my life again, I will be so happy. He's like, I'm burnt out. I work 70 hours a week. Every vacation I've taken this year, my laptop is with me. My family's noticing, right? Scaling broken isn't all that's cracked up to be. And that's what he did, right? He was growing, but he didn't have the foundational tools in place. So the problem is that you don't think you're scaling broken. The problem is you think you're fixing broken. You think you're fixing the problem. And that's where we have to stop and really look at what's going on. Now we look at sustaining and we picture a bow and arrow, right? So you've got the guy on the screen. You can see him pulling it back. Sustaining isn't slowing down. It isn't going backwards. It's just simply pulling the arrow back. And we all know what happens when you pull the arrow back, right? The further we pull it, the further it's going to fly. Some of you aren't giving your business time to sustain, right? You aren't ever pulling the arrow back, or you're barely pulling it back. And that's why your results aren't what you've been hoping for specifically, right? So if you have a roof that has holes in it and you feel it every time it rains, right? When it rains, it pours, they say. But the problem is you might be running over here to put out that bucket when it rains and you need it in marketing. And then all of a sudden it rains again and you're like running over to fulfillment or customer success, or now you need it in operations because you need to hire it and you market and then you fulfill and it's just like a little crazy. And it probably feels like you're wearing all the hats. How many hats are you wearing in your business? 4, 7, all of them, right? The problem is we've got to stop putting on all these hats and running over to each department like we're playing whack-a-mole. And we need to make sure we get on the roof and fix the roof, or even better, we hire a roofer, somebody who knows what they're doing and how to fix these problems on the roof. Sound good? Okay. Now, what I want you to know is that transformation doesn't just magically happen overnight. And I want to caution you because there's a lot of you, right, who are waiting for the perfect time to start working on this. And trust me, the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be to clean up the mess you've got going on. And I speak from experience, okay? So we've got to dial in these 3 key areas if we truly want the business to run without us. Number 1, understanding profitable planning. I was so focused on revenue and the big number. I am an achiever. I want to just go from like 100 to 300 to 500 to a million to 3 to 5, right? I just want to keep cruising. And I'm just like, give me that next number. But sometimes I might make $1 million and it might have cost me $1 million. Or even worse, maybe 1 point something, right? And I see that happening a lot in business. A lot of people listening right now, they don't have a profitable business. They don't even know what their profit margin is because they know it's not good and they don't even want to look. So we've got to stop chasing the big number and start watching what is left over. Number 2, we want to get the right people in the right seats. There was a time when people didn't take me seriously as a business owner, and I had to find out the hard way. It was because I wasn't taking myself that seriously. I wasn't treating it like it was a real business. I was still pretending it was just my hobby. And the second I stopped thinking about this as a passion project or what I do for fun and started treating it like a real business, guess what? It took off. When I made the change, I had to clean house. I had to get the right people on board. Even I wasn't being the right person at the time. I wasn't the right person in the right seat, right? I was a really sucky CEO and I had to change my identity. And when I finally did, and I looked around and I saw all these other people, they were not A players, and they were not the people to join me on my mission. So ask yourself right now, what percentage of your team do you think is the right person in the right seat? I would love to know in the comments below. Number 3, once I got the right people, I had to start asking myself, how can I actually build out the systems to have it run as if I was the one in the building 24/7, right? And this was a massive strategy that really helped us achieve it. And we're going to talk about what systems to incorporate today. Melina said, before Stacy, we're at $32,000 months, and now we're at $87,000 months and counting. Christina said, quick update. Last year, I had 30-ish direct reports. Today, I have 5. So she had 30 employees all reporting to her. They could knock on her door. They could text her. She wasn't getting anything done. We helped her reorganize her org chart. She now has over 50 employees. The business is scaled to multiple 7 figures, and she has 4 people that report to her specifically. Lindsay said, we've drastically increased our productivity and improved the successful completion of our day-to-day tasks. How many of you as visionaries have so many ideas, but they're just not all getting done? Or you get shiny object syndrome where you start one and you don't finish it, okay? Well-oiled is gonna help you get things done. If you're interested in finding out how well-oiled operations can help you streamline and scale your business, you can schedule a free 60-minute strategy call with our team at bookwoocall.com or click the link in the show notes. Now, I want to know from you, how big is your team? Put it in the chat. Is it just you? Maybe you're still a solopreneur. You're ready to make your first hire. Maybe you've got 20, 30, 40, 100 plus employees. I'm curious to know. Now what I want to head into are the stages of business ownership, and really try to assess yourself at what stage you're at. So a lot of people we start to work with are actually in this operator stage, and they don't realize it. This stage, it doesn't matter how many people are on your team. If it's just you or you have 60 people, you could still be an operator. If you've been in business for a year or you've been in business for 20 years, you could still be an operator. It's more about mindset and behavior than it is about how long, how big, how successful, okay? So an operator is where the business is still heavily reliant on the owner. The business owner is doing more than they're leading. Their hands are on everything. They frequently become the bottleneck in their business. When they go on vacation, the whole team is just like waiting for them to get back, or they're constantly like interrupting them during the vacation. You are truly running the day-to-day operations. You are in the weeds. You are doing tasks all day long. Maybe I can stop already because you're going, Stacy, that is me. Okay. So if that is you, you might recognize this too. There is a belief that hard work will get them higher pay. So operators tend to work a lot. We're talking way past 40, 50, 60, 80, maybe even 100 hours a week. And what happens is you just try to squeeze in more. If you could just check a few more boxes, if you could just get a few more things off your to-do list, if you could just, feel a little bit more accomplished. But let's be real. You look at that to-do list when it's done and you still have so much more to do. So how do we get out of it? Well, the next thing you need to do is get out of that operator mindset and step into what we call a manager mindset, okay? So first off, we want to acknowledge you are an operator and realize there is no sustainability in being an operator. So in order to climb this ladder and make more revenue and get your time back, you have to start to oversee and lead more than you actually do in the day-to-day. So you need to outsource and delegate. And before you're like, yeah, Stacey, I would love to, but I don't have money, sit tight. We're going to get to what a revenue generator is in a minute. You won't need a hiring budget. Okay. If it sounds too good to be true, just listen up. So we step into the stage as a manager and we start inspecting what we expect. Write that down. You start to manage the projects and more things get done than you could ever do with just you by yourself. This alone will increase your projects, your productivity, and when you have the right to-dos on your calendar, your profits will rise as well. Now, it's not that you don't do anything as a manager, you just keep the highest paid activities on your plate, right? So you might still be owning marketing and sales and some really high level fulfillment or product mastery, right? But what you aren't doing anymore is the tedious, repetitive, anybody could do them, those lower level, entry level jobs, okay? As you do this, you will start to see that your time is being multiplied and so is your revenue and profit. Now, we don't want to stay in the manager stage for long because a manager is still involved and required in the day-to-day operations. So where do we go from here? And the next phase up is stepping into leadership and starting to bring on a manager. So a manager is crucial. Every good business needs a manager. And once you are deciding it's time for me to be a leader, we need to hire a manager to replace you. We always help business owners with their organizational charts, meaning we figure out where you are and how many people are communicating with you, the owner. Now, all of a sudden, we say, let's bring on a manager to be the gatekeeper between all of those people and you, so you can continue to stay in your zone of genius, get more work done, and work on the big things that are producing revenue. So we hire one manager to replace you. And then pretty soon, we might hire a lot of different managers. You might hire a manager that focuses on marketing, one that focuses on customer success, one that focuses on operations, right? And you start to lead those managers. As you build out your management team, there's less and less that is required by you. So what's amazing is a leader can absolutely go on vacation for a week or 2 weeks, and the business should be able to run without them. So once you get into the leadership phase, you're going to start to feel so much relief. You're going to start to feel the weight off your shoulders. And then that brings us to the next and final stage, which is ownership. You will know if you are an owner because you could step away from that business for truly a year or longer, and the business will grow without you. An owner has an entire leadership team. They have leaders in all of those key areas: marketing, sales, customer success, operations. And that's how you can step away because they've got it running. Now, somebody said, but Stacy, couldn't I just go for a month? Well, you could, but then you don't really truly own an asset that runs without you. It only temporarily runs without you for your 30-day sabbatical, right? So we want to make sure that we are building a business we own, right? Not operate. That is when it starts to get fun. But to do this, we must get out of the day-to-day operations and become the owner one stage at a time. Don't rush these steps. Don't try to skip these steps. If your daughter was in first grade and the teacher said, oh my goodness, she's a genius, we want to put her in 8th grade next year, you might go, hold up, slow down. Can we just skip 1 grade? Can we skip 2 grades? Like, that feels like a big jump, right? Same thing here. We don't want to skip steps. We don't want to skip the struggle. We want to make sure that you truly understand what it looks like to manage, what it looks like to lead. All right. Now, when you do this, you will experience higher revenue and higher profit margins. You will have more decision makers on the team, more time freedom, more money in the bank. But last year's habits will never produce next year's results. What do I mean when I say this? Well, if you are an operator trying to become a manager, but you keep behaving like the old you from last quarter or last year, right? You are going to get the same results. So it's funny when somebody says to me, I've plateaued. I can't surpass 750,000 in annual revenue. It seems like that's just the number every year. We just kind of go back and forth. Well, did your habits change? Did your routines change? Did you up level who you were? Did you up level the team? No, everything's kind of the same, which is why you're getting the same results. It is time to shed who you've been and start stepping into who you want to become to hit that next level in business. All right, so next up, we're going to dive into our 3-phase formula called well-oiled operations. It's the plan, the people, and the process. We always say it's the what, the who, and the how, okay? Angelique says well-oiled operations is pure gold, so stick around. I'm diving into all 3 phases right now. So the first piece we want to start with is well-oiled strategic planning. So the biggest thing I want you to think about is goal setting versus strategically planning. They are different. And when I realized the difference, my business started to explode. So goal setting is, picking for the next year, I want to hit $1 million or I want to, right? And we just say these numbers and we pull them out of thin air. Strategically planning is using past data to direct us. Right? It's picking numbers and then saying, okay, well, how are we going to acquire more clients? How are we going to increase the customer average lifetime value? What are you thinking when you're strategically planning? Or are you maybe realizing, wow, I'm just goal setting, right? I'm just throwing numbers out of thin air, putting on paper, and then they don't happen and I'm confused why. Okay, so we want to get really crystal clear on strategically planning. Well, what does that look like? Feel free to screenshot this. This is the top part of a document we call the same pager. So, this is where we start to set the plan for the next 12 months. What is the revenue we want to hit? What is the profit margin? Most people don't say profit margin. They just, I want to be $1 million business. I want to be 5 million. And they have no idea or they don't care. They just want to hit that next milestone. We don't want to do that. Remember, we are profit focused. Profit focused. Do not forget that. From there, we pick our critical number. Our critical number is based off of something we call our bestseller. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute, so I'll explain. And then we have the 3 key actions we need to do as a team to get us to these numbers. All right. So this is part of strategically planning. This is part of understanding it. When you have a same pager, you're able to make faster decisions. How many of you wish you were a little faster? How many of you maybe are a little bit of a perfectionist, right? The same pager is going to get you to move faster. You can be quick and not be careless. You can be quick because you know where you're going. You know what that North Star is, right? So you really want to get that on paper. You also want to get your entire team moving in the same direction. I have worked with hundreds, maybe even thousands of business owners already. And I will tell you right now, if I walked up to a certain team and I said individually, what is your mission? What are you trying to accomplish this year? What's the revenue goal? What are we trying to, what's the big thing we're trying to do? And I asked your 20 employees all separate, how many answers would I get? The amount of teams I see that are not even remotely on the same page is terrifying. The next piece is the same pager will help you understand your bestseller. Your bestseller is your most profitable product, program, or service, and it should be your number one focus with the company. Lauren said, after modifying my bestseller, we 7x our monthly gross revenues, and my bestseller became 90% of my website sales. The only thing she changed was announcing this is our bestseller. She told her team, she told her clients, and everything started to scale. If you want our help figuring out what your bestseller is and how we can help you scale it, you can schedule a free 60-minute strategy call with our team at bookwoocall.com or click the link in our show notes. Now, something important for you to realize is the plan is only as good as the people you employ. And if you're thinking, I would employ more people if I had the money to hire, listen up because I'm going to explain how and where to find the money in just a second. John Maxwell says, if you have a big dream, you'll need a big team. I don't work with solopreneurs unless they are wanting to hire. Why? Because I don't build small businesses. And if you want a small business with average profits or sometimes little to no profit, right, you're not going to want to listen to my strategies. I build big businesses and I build them quickly. And that is who we design our trainings for. And it's a lot of what I teach is team building. And if that excites you, then we're going to jump into the people phase. So the plan is only as good as the people you employ, right? Some of you have these beautiful strategic plans for the next 12 months and they're gorgeous and they look amazing and they sound brilliant, but you don't have the right people to actually even perform at the level you're looking for. Some of you don't even have the right CEO. And I'm talking about you, right? You are in a phase where you're running around like an operator and you can't even be the person the company needs you to be to hit the numbers you want to hit. Does that make sense? The challenge with growing and scaling your team is it would be wonderful if you could have a team stand in for you while you built that team, right? Somebody to help bridge that gap. Now, what I want you to know is your team is made up of either revenue generators or expenses. What do I mean by that? Well, here's an example. You pay somebody $1,000 a month part-time, and you can see that their work is producing you $2,000 a month. Easy. They're a revenue generator. Person B, you hire this social media agency for $1,000 a month. I ask you, how much money did your social media bring in the last month? And you say $250. That is an expense. Your business can't afford to tolerate expenses. Everybody in the company needs to be directly or indirectly making the company money. I get this question all the time. Yes, but Stacy, not admin or not an assistant or not people in the office. Yes, even those people. When you delegate, you either need to delegate where they have the opportunity to make money or you replace what you delegated with a money-making activity. So direct is they make the company money. Indirect is you make the company more money and pay for their salary, right? So my assistant, she comes in, she checks my email, I pay her, right? She's not really making me money, but now that I don't have to check my email an hour a day, I work on marketing an hour a day, and all of a sudden the business makes more money. Christina said, we've been in 5 coaching groups within the last 3 years, and you are the very first person that I have heard teach the direct and indirect paying their own salary concept. So many people just tell you, you need to hire, and then I did. And then we fall short in our profits. Anybody been there? So the big question is, how much money are you spending per month on expenses? But Stacy, I can't afford to hire. Then you're not hiring revenue generators. Revenue generators should make their money back within 30, 60, or 90 days, depending on their role. If you don't know how to hire revenue generators, it tells me you're missing the onboarding systems to ramp somebody up. Most business owners hire, but then they don't have time to train or time to onboard, or they just expect that the new hire should just know what to do. It doesn't work like that, and it is costing you a fortune to not know this skill set. If you're ready to build a winning team of revenue generators and you haven't scheduled your free call yet, see how much money you're leaving on the table and how well-oiled can help you. Schedule your free 60-minute strategy call with our team at bookwoocall.com or click the link in our show notes. Moving on to step number 3, the process. So now we're on the how. So don't worry about systematizing the entire business. Yes, eventually your business will be pretty systematized, but right now we're going to tackle just one at a time. When business owners join us inside of Well Oiled, we start with a 30-day sprint and we make them pick a path. So what do you want first? Do you want a quick cash injection, or do you desperately need time back? Now, I know you probably want both, but the way you get both is by focusing on one at a time. When you chase 2 rabbits, you won't catch either. So the question is, money or time? What is your biggest priority? Maybe it's making money to be able to afford to hire that new person. Maybe it's getting 10 hours a week back so you can focus on the bigger priorities you keep pushing off. Okay, so here's what we would do if we were to take you on a time saver sprint. The goal of the time saver sprint is guaranteed 10 hours per week back. This is literally impossible for us not to get that result. Why? Because most business owners are not at 100% efficiency. So listen up. I guarantee this is you too. Here's what I would do to help you get 10 hours a week back. Number 1, I have you do a 1-week time audit. We look at every single thing you are doing in the company. Then my team assesses the return on investment. What did this do for us, right? If you spent 3 hours on LinkedIn, what did we get from LinkedIn? A lot of times it's nothing, right? It's like, well, but my competitors are on LinkedIn, so I need to be there. Okay, but guess what? Your competitors are broke too. Most small business owners are broke, and you're copying your competitor who doesn't know what they're doing, and you're wondering why you're in the same position. We need to assess the ROI. From there, we reset the calendar. So we take away all the negatives or all the break evens where we didn't get a return on investment. And we focus on only just the things that had that positive ROI. And then we repeat this every 90 days. So remember when I said you can't be the same person you were last quarter or last year unless you want the same results. This is an every 90-day activity. We continuously clean up who you are, what you're doing, right? And this is how you step into that next level CEO. Jillian took our challenge and she shaved off 25 hours a week. She came in and she told us, I'm working 90 hours a week right now. This woman is a different person. You can hear her full story on our podcast as well. It's just incredible. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're working an excessive amount of hours. Now, maybe you said, Stacy, I don't need more time. I would do whatever you need me to do. I've got the time. I need to make money and I need to make it now. Okay. So here are some systems that will pay for your next hire's entire annual salary. We have what we call a 30-day quick cash injection playbook. So we've got 4 different systems we teach to help you make quick cash. However, I will tell you, because we're at limited time, the number 1 campaign we see time and time again that make the most amount of money for our clients is our reactivation campaign. So, a money making system that you should be considering, if you don't already have this already, is a reactivation. So, following up, right? Follow up is for new people that have yet to buy from you. Reactivation is going after people that have already bought before but aren't currently buying today. This is one of our most popular cash injection strategies because it's so much easier to get older people to buy than it is to get new people to buy. The big mistake business owners are making is they're trying to only go after new people. You don't need new people. You might have an email list. You might have addresses, phone numbers, a client database we can go back to. Don't forget about that. Did you know the success rate of selling to an existing customer ranges from 60% to 70%, whereas new customers only 5 to 20? That's from constant contact. That's an insane statistic, and I believe it 100%. I've seen it with our businesses. Alicia was a little hesitant on the reactivation campaign. She's in the bridal gown industry, and she's like, how do I reactivate a bride, right? Well, she did it, and she made $36,000 in 30 days. Jody, a home stager, made $26,000 in 30 days. You can hear her full story on the podcast. And she actually said it got so much better at day 90. My work started to really compound. Jenna Landscaper made $23,000 in January. And she said the previous January, she made $0. She never tried to get people to buy. And she was now reactivating in one of her lowest months. Couple big myths. I'll systematize when I have more time. Fact is, when you systematize, you'll make more time. Big myth, I'll systematize when I have more money. The fact is, when you systematize, you'll make more money. Systematizing creates the opportunity to scale. Systematizing is actually a huge part of what we said before was called the sustaining phase, right? So when you systematize and sustain, it will actually propel you into the scale phase. This is the golden nugget that most business owners don't understand. Tiffany said, my business grew exponentially and it maxed out what I could do alone without a team. I set a goal this year to build a team, grow the business, and have more time for myself. Along came Well-Oiled. I jumped at the opportunity and it's just what I needed. So when you have the plan, the people, the process, your business will become less reliant on you over the next year or even just the next 90 days. So where do you think your biggest area of opportunity is right now to focus on? We need them all, but which one do you think is going to be the key to really getting your business moving forward? The plan, the people, the process. I would love to hear what that is in the comments. So here's how my business started. I made every decision. I was too busy to manage anybody. Every fire was put out by me. I worked 24/7 in the business. I was worried about making payroll. Personal life was suffering. I was about 20 pounds heavier. Today, the business runs without me. We have leaders on the team. I consult them once or twice a month. I haven't hired or fired anybody in years. Our leaders do that. And I haven't talked to upset clients in years because we have happiness policies that the managers are allowed to put in place themselves. So feel free to screenshot this. I believe these are the most valuable areas and skill sets to go from operator to owner, like we talked about. Leadership and management skills. Don't skip the struggle. You need to learn these skill sets. Setting the plan and only modifying the actions, not the goals. Understanding revenue generators versus expenses. Creating money-making systems or time-saving systems, depending on which one you need. And then the last one is we simplify, we don't add. I think it's a really common misconception that I'm going to give you a million things to do. And in reality, we usually take off a ton off your plate because there are things you are doing that you don't need to be doing. Now, when you have the plan, the people, the process, the what, the who, the how, the business doesn't rely on you. It doesn't rely on your right hand. We spread out the reliance and we make the business more secure. You want a process reliant business, not people reliant. You don't want it to be reliant on you or your right hand or somebody else, because if something happens to you, then what? We want your business to be relying on processes that anybody could step in and take over. When you do that, you will experience higher profit margins, more time freedom, a leaner, stronger team. Business becomes fun again, less stress for you and your team. And that is when you will experience a well-oiled operation. All right, friends, don't go anywhere. I am handing out our top secrets of high performing teams coming up here in just a few minutes. You're going to get that completely free. My gift to you, if you thought today was good, there's some really good stuff inside of here. And if you're still watching, I hope that means you got an insane amount of value. Now, if you're interested in hearing all of the details of how we work with business owners like yourself, stick around. I'm going to share the entire step-by-step process of what we do in our 6-month coaching program, which is called Well-Oiled Operations, that guarantees that you will increase your profit while reducing the time you work by 25%, or we refund you in full at the end of 6 months. We're that confident. Now, more on the guarantee in a minute. This program is designed for business owners already at the 6-figure, 7-figure, or even 8-figure annual revenue mark. Revenue, not profit. Okay. So if you've already made at least $100,000 in your business, that tells us you have product market fit and you're ready to start dialing in and getting it more well oiled. I want to be very clear. We do not help startups. If you have a brand new idea, you want to get started, maybe you've made like 4,000 or 12,000, or you're under that $100,000 mark, you are not quite at the level where this program will make sense for you. And what I always tell people under 100K is go get my book on Amazon, go watch. I mean, we have hundreds of YouTube videos. Just keep binging my free stuff. And when you get to 100K, then apply. Now, once you book your call, my team is going to see if you qualify for that money back guarantee. They're going to invite you in that 1-hour call, that 60-minute free call. What they're going to do is they're going to dig in and they're going to find what we call the missing piece, right? The biggest, I always call it the $1 million problem. And my analogy for what that looks like is basically there's these dominoes that we need to set up in your business, right? And in these dominoes, we want to make sure we hit the first one. Because when we hit the first one, everything else, the momentum keeps going, right? We want to make sure we're not diagnosing the business and picking the one in the middle. Because if we go from here, we miss out on all that other stuff. So that's what we're specifically doing on that call. We're diagnosing, we're understanding the $1 million problem, and we're seeing, do we look at your business and say 1000% we can guarantee the increase in profit will decrease in time? Now, I will tell you, you can go to that link, bookwoocall.com. It's also in the show notes. If for some reason you go there and there are no times available, okay? It is possible. We sell out. These are real humans that are gifting 60 minutes of their time. It's possible they are gone. If that happens, you can DM me on Instagram at Stacy Tuschl, and we'll get you on the wait list for as soon as one of those spots open up, okay? So these are real humans giving up their time. At some point, yes, they will probably completely fill up, okay? So Colleen said, I just joined a few weeks ago. I was very stressed about spending the money. I'm honestly so happy I did it already. It has changed everything. Dawn said, I've had results in just a few days. So here's what I want you to know. We set up this program for a 6-month transformation. Literally, I want you to be a completely different CEO with a completely different business in 6 months. But I am a teacher. I was a dance teacher. I went to school originally to get my bachelor's to be a teacher before I switched to business. I love teaching. And one thing I know about teaching is I need you to get results so fast so that you want to go back and keep doing it, right? So we've set the program up so that you feel something in 7 days. I want you to feel relief, whether that's getting your time back within 7 days or making money within 7 days, okay? So that is why you're gonna see people saying how fast it is working specifically. Now, the two biggest things that we help business owners with is more time freedom and more profitability, okay? So if you're not looking for either one of those things, this program is not for you, okay? Now, the biggest question I get is, Stacy, I love this, but I'm a fill in the blank. Will this work for me? And here's what I will tell you. It doesn't matter what business you are in. In fact, I might say yes to one lawyer and say no to another lawyer. I might say yes to one dog groomer and say no to another dog groomer. It doesn't matter your industry. It matters what you're trying to accomplish. So when we look at our framework, the plan, the people, the process, I'm actually asking myself, does the restaurant want help in the plan, the people, or the process, right? If I'm like, oh, well, yeah, we need to scale your team, or, wow, you need to put systems in place, or you're goal setting, not strategically planning, the answer is yes. I can't answer yes or no to a spa because every single CEO is going to be different. Now, here's what we do with our program. We take these 3 phases and we break them down into 9 core modules. everybody goes through our program differently. You will be getting a dedicated coach and they'll guide you on what you need first, whether that's boundaries and communication or you need help with cash flow. They're going to tell you where to start and how to work through the program to reach your goals fast. So it's very customized. You're not going in order on the wheel, right? The big thing I want you to know, and this is huge, so listen up, is we lock everything you aren't working on. Why do we do that? Because it's very, very easy for you to get good at watching videos and not doing anything. Okay? I'm not going to let you join this program and watch videos and do nothing. I am only going to help you if I believe you are an action taker, a go-getter. You actually want to come in, be given templates and trainings and be told what to do and just do it and get results. So you're going to see one track, right? You're going to get to see what you're working on. And when you get stuck, because of course at some point you're going to get stuck. Why? Because this is new to you, right? This is something that's unknown. You haven't done this before. So when you get stuck, and yes, I say when, not if, when you get stuck, your dedicated coach is going to help you figure that out and troubleshoot. So Clara came in, she needed time. She said, I got my time and sanity back with routines versus projects. It's one of the trainings we teach in the program. Megan came in, she said she increased her revenue 5x while maintaining a 45% profit margin, only working 22 hours per week. How do we know that? Well, we track every single month. We have you look up your CEO metrics. You need to know your numbers. You need to take control over your finances. We're going to show you what numbers to be tracking. Like I said, you are going to be a transformed CEO at the end of the 6 months. It's not just what you make, it's also what you spend. Jose saved $5,000 a month in recurring expenses. I will tell you this, I think you're wasting time and I know you're wasting money. And that is the kind of stuff we help people do. So we just had somebody come in within 60 days. This is new, so I don't have the slide up. Within 60 days, we saved her $60,000. She got off in the next 12 months, got rid of, and then made $16,000. You guys, $76,000 in a difference on her P&L, profit and loss at the end of the year. Like that's huge. Now, here's why I think a lot of people buy our program. They want our 100+ done for you templates and systems. There are so many things you need to do in your business or create for your business, but you don't have the time. So what this looks like is all of our systems are the money-making systems I talk about, follow-ups, reactivations, referrals, upsells, that's all in there. KPI spreadsheet for every single role we have in the company. We're going to get your team performing at the highest level. And in order to do that, we're going to have to show you how to get them to take ownership and accountability. You're going to get that. Our time audit calculator, our job descriptions, our org chart, our job offers, our team evaluations, performance improvement plans, our employee handbook, our onboarding system for the next 90 days, team meeting agendas, our same pager we talked about. There's just so much in there. Susanna came in and within the first week of joining us, she added $30,000 in profit to her business. Ben from UK says, well-oiled resources are first class. Amanda said, I love this so much. I made a copy, then another copy, then one more on a different drive so I don't ever lose this. This is literally why people buy our program. They want those templates and systems so they don't have to spend their own time that they don't have working on creating them from scratch. Allison said, I saved myself hundreds of hours a year by implementing the systems I learned in Well-Oiled. So you go through our portal. You've got your dedicated coach going through the portal, guiding you. Whenever you need something, you've got 100+ templates and systems. Now, like I said, when you get stuck, and you will, because this sounds easy, right? But you don't know what you don't know. The good news is we do know, and we've done it. So we're going to tell you exactly when you get stuck, oh, just do this. Like it's a simple fix, right? Because we've been there. So every question you ask is going to get most likely same day response time, and at the very longest, 1 business day. So we have people in there, coaches in there every single day answering questions, okay? And they're fast. Now, if you post at 4 p.m., yes, you'll probably get it the next morning. But if you post at 9 a.m., there's a pretty great chance you're getting your answer that day. Imagine every question you have regarding your business answered within the same day or 24 hours. So this is in a separate portal. This is not Facebook. All of our members are inside of here networking with one another as well. Alita said, super valuable. I enrolled for my 2nd year. Way too many ahas to not continue. Keeps me accountable. Too many amazing processes that if we do not continue to learn, We will miss something. Just do it. You will not regret it. I promise. Alita is a multiple seven-figure per year business owner. We have people at all ranges, right? People that are just getting started at six figures that they don't know what they don't know. You've got people like Alita who's been doing this for decades and is still saying it's so incredibly valuable. Now, I am not a fan of DIY courses where you just watch videos and then you do everything on your own. I do believe that you need a coach. So Monday through Thursday, we have live Zoom coaching. So every Monday through Thursday, except for US holidays, somebody is there live. Who's there live? Well, it's a combination of myself and my leadership team, as well as key players in my company specifically. So we are a multiple seven-figure per year business. How would you like to borrow my team for the next 6 months? You want to learn from my director of marketing, my director of sales, my director of customer success, director of ops? They're all in the program, including myself. My social media manager, my executive assistant, they're all working with a company running at multiple seven figures per year. This is an insane, insane value. Hazelana said, I've already learned so much in the first 2 weeks of well-oiled operations. You guys buckle up. We go fast. Now, you also get to bring in up to 4 team members into the program. So maybe I just said social media manager and you have one too, and you want her to learn from my person. Maybe you have an assistant. You would love for your assistant to learn from my assistant, right? You'll get to bring in up to 4 additional members into the program. Camilla says you can't afford not to spend time on this. Colleen said, I work until midnight every night, have already started shifting that since I started well-oiled. We're going to break those bad habits. Now, I've got 3 huge bonuses I want you to know about. Number 1, a dedicated coach. I told you this person's going to guide you. What I didn't say is you're going to get private one-on-one Zoom calls with this person bi-weekly. Every other week, you are talking to them. They're going to do a jumpstart call, get you set up for success. They're going to help you set goals. And every 2 weeks, they're going to check in. Why do we do it every other week? Well, we've actually tried weekly. It was too fast. People weren't getting things done. We've tried monthly. It was too long. Every other week has been our sweet spot. So every other week, they're setting up those goals and then holding you accountable to did you hit it? What do you need? And in between, you get unlimited email access to them. This program is full of support. Now, the next thing you're going to get is a ticket to our in-person event. We host an in-person event with hundreds of small business owners, and there's always an event going on during your 6-month window. Maria said, one of the benefits I love about Well-Oiled is that you're growing your business right alongside people who are also go-getters. Some of you don't have a community. You don't have people you can talk to. Entrepreneurship can be very, very lonely, and you're going to get to build relationships with people in business just like you. Susanna came in within 90 days, added $200,000 in profit to her business. So our crazy no-brainer money back guarantee. Now, you will increase your profit or reducing your time 25%, or we will refund you. Here's what I need you to know. If you are not an action taker, if you are not fully invested in this business, if this is more of a side hustle or a passion project, it's not your main focus, don't do this program. This is for people who are going to watch, get our templates, implement them, ask questions when they get stuck. Okay. If that is you, there is no chance that you are not going to get results. I have never had somebody who actually implemented the work assigned say that it didn't work. Now, usually when that happens, when they're like, hey, I tried this reactivation strategy and I didn't get my customers to do this, we troubleshoot and we fix and we do it again. All right. And then for my last amazing bonus, I am going to mail you this physical box in the mail to your house. Doesn't matter if you're in the United States, you're in Canada, UK, or another country, we ship it out to you. The best part about that is inside of here, this is not the handbook, I promise. This is the one that has the whole program inside with all of the templates. This becomes your manual. You keep on your desk, you use over and over and over, and you use this long after you've been in the program itself. Now, something you should know is this is the whole program. And one of the things that we realized was you guys could go into this whole thing and cheat and get out of order and do things that we were like, I don't know if I necessarily want you doing that. So I actually am removing this out of that box. Now, I still have quite a bit of these left, and we are going to be mailing them out while we still have that inventory. So this is a bonus you love. I don't necessarily love it as a coach because I want to keep you focused, because I know if I can keep you focused, I can keep you getting profits, right? So, but I will say it's pretty nice. And then the fact that you get to keep it forever, this is a really, really cool bonus that you'll want to snag now before that's gone. So again, if you're ready to join us, go to bookwoocall.com or click the link in our show notes or our pinned comment as well. All right, I promised you, everybody watching, my free high performing teams. You can DM me on Instagram, the word team. If you're on your phone, it'll automatically send it. It's an automation. If you're on your desktop, my team will manually send it over to you. Or you can just shoot me an email, hello@stacytuschl.com. Those are the two ways you can grab this document, okay? A lot of things we talked about, revenue generators. How do we get them performing at the highest level possible, taking ownership? That is my gift to you, completely free. All right, so here are a few frequently asked questions I typically get. Number one is, Stacy, how long did this program take me? How many hours a week do I need to set aside? This sounds like a lot. So here's what we tell people. Number one, the first thing we have you watch is a time audit training where we're going to shave you 10 hours a week. I am telling you, I have never seen a business owner that was running at such efficiency that they couldn't shave 10 hours a week. Now, I always tell people that if you can consume 1 to 2 hours per week, you will be set. Remember, I just said I'm going to give you back 10 hours. So it doesn't cost you 1 to 2 hours. You're already going to be going plus 9, 8 to 9 hours. So don't worry about it taking time. What we're going to do is we're going to shift the way you behave as a CEO. So if you're working 40, 50, 60, 80 hours, right? You're going to just keep doing what you're doing, but we're going to rearrange what you put on your calendar and into your day. Now, my goal is that all of you get that, 25% shaved off, unless you're in a unique situation where you're like, listen, I work 35 hours. I feel great. I work 42 hours. I feel great. I don't need time back. I just want to make more money. I want to streamline. I want to get the business more well-oiled. Okay. So not everybody comes in wanting money and time. Some people come in just wanting one or the other. The next question I get is, do I need to be profitable, or how profitable do I need to be to join the program? So I will tell you, it is pretty staggering how many small business owners in the United States is not profitable. So we actually do work with many business owners that come in with a negative profit margin or are breaking even. Now, yes, of course, we work with people that are profitable, but I don't want you to think you have to have profit to come in. Our goal is to get you to first break even, because trust me, if you're negative and you get to break even, you're going to just feel like, okay, we're not bleeding anymore. Then from there, we're going to go from break even to actually profiting. Will this work in other countries? So right now, we currently serve, majority of our people are in the United States. Of course, that's where I'm from. So that's what's happening. We serve many people in Canada, lots of people in UK, and then there are a few other English-speaking countries as well that we serve. Next question. Should I wait until I hire this person I want to hire and then join your program? This is what we tell people. If you don't know how to hire A players and you don't have an A player hiring system, hiring funnel, you might hire this person, bring them into us. We look at them and say, they're not your girl, your guy. So one person that did wait, she actually waited even worse. She waited 90 days because she thought, I want to get them up and running. I don't want to waste their time. That's the stuff we do. We help you hire. We help you get them up and running. So she brings them in at the 90-day mark. We realize immediately this person is not a good fit. So she spent 30 days hiring them, 90 days. She was paying them $2,500 a month. So she wasted $7,500 and 4 months of her time getting ready to work with us. Okay. Then came in the program. We fired him pretty fast because he was very just underperforming. And then we hired the A player, and she's like kicking herself for waiting. So don't think I'm going to get the person first and then I'm going to do it. That is literally one of the biggest things we do, is attract A players. All right. If you have any questions, the best place to go get support is right on Instagram. My handle is @StacyTuschl, and my team is in there. I'm well oiled, of course. We have many, many people that work full time in Instagram to help support you with any questions you have. That'll be the fastest place. The other place is email, hello@stacytuschl.com. They will happily help answer questions you have. Now, if you have questions about the program or you want to learn more, just go right to book a call. So that link again is bookwoocall.com. It's in the show notes, and it's also linked in the pinned comment. It's time to level up. It's time to start behaving as a CEO. It's time to get out of the weeds. It's time to get out of the day-to-day operations and start building a team. I know it's going to be tough. You're nervous about trusting them. We've got you covered. The reason you don't trust them is because you don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself to make those systems. You don't trust yourself to hire amazing people. And when we get you trusting yourself and your confidence grows, you're going to start to see how it's going to multiply into your team as well. It's so much more fun with a team. I used to think a team was a headache. It was just payroll every other Friday, cutting into my paycheck. And now I am so incredibly grateful. It is the reason we've been able to hit the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies in America. It's the reason we've been able to scale our business so much, is because we have a dream team. Let us help you create that. And while you wait for your call, check out one of our other videos on the screen.